Morning. This, this is my live at 5. It's 5 p.m. somewhere. It's 5 p.m. in California. There you go. So, I just cracked myself up because I just think this joke's going to wear thin at some stage. But at the moment, I mean, as long as it's making me laugh, it still has legs. Anyway. In my mastermind in my studio, at the moment, we're taking people through what they stand for, what they stand against, and what we're discovering. And what I'm finding that we're all getting really clear on is to build a dream business, you have to be so brutally honest with yourself as to what do you want. A lot of our business is built around the perception of what we are meant to have or want. And that could be from coaches that you work for that have created a glass ceiling for you, or coaches that just don't share the same vision, or it's our idea or perception or fantasy of what it's meant to be like or look like. So you've set these goals, but the goals aren't truly aligned with your truth. And I just call this integrity. Okay, integrity in line with the integrity of your heart brain. Let's just say it's that. So in the presenter studio in my mastermind, we're going through at the moment of a series of questions that help people ask themselves, who are you? What do you stand for? What do you stand against? What is the change that you're wanting to create? And what we're discovering is that their real dreams, the ones that are in here, are not the ones that they are pursuing fully. They're pursuing an perceived easier road. I'll explain why it's not actually easier. They're choosing a perceived easier road because it's more of a saturated market, because they believe that in the common marketplace or that lower level marketplace, there is just more people. Now, this is why it's harder very handy today, this is why it's harder to follow our perception or fantasy, what our perceived goals are, our logical goals, instead of being in line with the integrity of our heart brain. So when we're really in line here, it's funny because in this process, I've been doing it myself, which is why I'm sharing this process with some of my mastermind and my studio clients, is that whenever I was reading my answers and reading through my summary of what I stand for, what I'm against, what I'm transcending, what I'm the best in the world at, what I was finding is my ego was creeping in. My ego was creeping into my words and how I wanted people to read this and perceive me. But at the level that I want to play at, smoke and mirrors don't work. Only true authenticity. True authenticity comes from here. So if we are chasing a perceived dream or goal, we are going against our natural frequency of our heart brain. We're going against it. We're making it hard. We are being and getting into the hustle. This here, being really honest with yourself, who do I want to work with? What am I the best in the world at? What can I be the best in the world at? What do I actually love? How does that look? What don't I like in this world that I would like to change? What in this craft of presenting for me just doesn't work and that I can change? After 28 years in this business, what do I want presenting to look and feel like? See, my aim through this exercise was actually, I figured out the end game was to change what world class actually looks and feels like. Redefine what world class looks and feels like. So instead of presenters being on stage doing a keynote and it's very manufactured and it's very repetitive and recycled and storytelling, manipulative with body language, NLP, hypnotic language. I love some of these things, by the way. Very salesy. I want to see presenters, the redefinition of world class is presenters who have an ability to balance the heart, brain, and the mind, the logical, the finite source of information, and the infinite source of information, wisdom. When we get this right, that on stage is potent and powerful and will connect deeper than manipulation any day of the week. That to me is the redefinition of world-class presenting. It does require a high level of craft, by the way. But when we choose to in some way lie to ourselves because we're stuck on an old idea or we're stuck on something that's, yes, it's not going away, but what does it really look like if we were to break it down and be honest? Is this what I want? And how does it look? And who is in my space? Who is in my space when this is happening? Who am I working with? What does that dream life really look like if there was only possibility? And what we're finding is that we're all in my mastermind, which is a weekly group call, in my studio, which is every 2 weeks. What we're finding is that we're having to redefine or adjust not just our message, but what it is that we want. And we have to be, it's actually quite intimidating because you feel in some ways you're having to let go of everything you've been working for, but you're not really. You're actually moving into what you've always really wanted. Here, this won't lie. It never lies. When we are acting in an integrity through here, when we're acting in integrity with ourselves, our own integrity, that due north, that whatever you want to call it, when we're acting in integrity, you will stay online and stay on course, and you will be producing, you will be creating and speaking with your true frequency. The heart brain, remember, is the frequency of your greatness. Hence why I put so much emphasis on teaching people, mentoring people to work in the heart brain space with a balance of the mind, the logical. This plots the logical things. What is my topic today? What am I doing? Where am I going? What are the points I need to touch on today? Okay, but here, all the ideas, the dreams, the sentences, the words, the creation comes from here. And remember, creation is required to make change. Only change can create change. And when we work in here, you are highly likely to discover that you can have the impact that you've always wanted to or known that you're capable of. But when we're working out of the integrity line, when we're working out of our perceived fantasy or ideas of what it is that you want, we tend to not have that impact that we would have liked, or that we know somewhere deep inside that we're capable of. And this is typical, right? And this is why there are so many people playing in the level of mediocrity and addicted to mediocrity. People are addicted to mediocrity. And there are less playing at the higher level. What do you think the difference is? Logical and following the integrity of your heart brain. It's kind of a rhetorical question, but I'm going to leave it here anyway.